Hello again, it's Ray. Today I'm gonna say goodbye to this bike for a couple weeks because I'm gonna be away. For some reason I like to give a name to my vehicles, so I will call this CBR 500R Ethan, same as my oldest nephew's name. I'm leaving from Lake Bellinger. It's kind of sad that this is the last day that I got to ride Ethan for a couple weeks. The weather is perfection. As a beginner, the northern Seattle is a little bit hilly, and around the lake, the roads are really smooth. For that reason, I always prefer the east side. The Seattle is growing on me. Compared to the east side, things are a little bit beaten down here, but I always like the city who has characteristics instead of being perfect. So let's talk about my gear. The helmet is Bilwell Wingo, which have the retro looking that I prefer. Everything besides the helmet is a compromise. As a new rider, I don't know how long or if I will keep riding. That's why I've bought a whole bunch of used stuff. The jacket is All Saints. It's not even a motorcycle jacket, it's just a fashion one. That's why underneath there is a snowboarding armor. I got it from a Taiwanese guy. And then also, because I also snowboarding and skiing, this will come in handy during the winter. I used to ride with the unbranded raw denim, but again, after that I got the Iron Walker motorcycle jeans. As the pants are most important that I'm not willing to skim on. Also the side bag, which is just my messenger leather bag, which I shred the straps through the passenger packs. It's rectangle leather, so I'm trying to find some reasons to put it under the sun so that it will be darkened over time. For these couple months, I've been lucky enough to be able to enjoy myself without the kids. That's why I took the opportunity to learn how to ride a motorcycle. I took the permit test and the endorsement test back to back, as is required for the Washington State. My tips for being able to pass those exams, especially the driven skill tests, my suggestion is to own a bike and practice. There's nothing special about it. I've made the mistake of not owning my own bike when I took those tests. The problem is that when I'm using the bikes provided for me, some of the bikes are really old and mostly broken. So if you don't know about bikes mechanically, you might run into problems and choose a bike that's simply not capable of letting you pass the exam. I've chosen a bike that is so old that the shifter is unable to shift from the first gear to the second without kicking it really hard, and that made me fail the speed test. But again, I used those opportunities to try different bikes. I took both of my COVID vaccine shots in Rite 8 at East Side. There is a lot of stop and go traffic in the city, right? But I simply don't mind about it. Sometimes it's good to be able to observe other people's life. Are they back from work? Are they having a good day? You can tell by how they drive. first car is a stick-dry Ford Focus. It never gets old. When you start the engine, pull the clutch and shift. Mechanically, it sounds complicated, but it's amazing that your muscle and your neurons will be able to abstract all those details away from you. And all you have to do is use the brain to say, I want to speed up. A couple days ago, I received a ticket for speeding around a school zoo. So whenever it comes to a place like this, I'm kind of afraid to speed up because you never know when there will be a checking station around the corner. That's why when you're exploring, there's always a risk because you don't know about the neighborhood and you don't know what's around the next corner, be it a speed station or a big slope. Talking about cornering, my motorcycle trainer told me that when you corner, imagine that you are trying to put your chin on the side of the mirror that you are trying to turn. You can see I'm still doing it poorly. Now I'm finally making it back to the North City. In this neighborhood, I found there's a lot of older folks living around and they don't like to follow the rules. There used to be all single detachment houses around this area, but now the apartments are taking places. As they are building a metro station next by, it's inevitable this neighborhood will finally be taken by younger professionals who have higher incomes rather than the older folks around. I choose to live here because the nostalgia, look and feel of the city, but this won't last long. Being on two wheels is kind of a pain to stop, so usually I shift down to the first gear and roll past the stop signs. Okay, thanks for listening to my rumbling and nonsense, and I hope everyone have a good day.